and gentlemen, please silence your cell phones as our program will begin shortly. Ladies and gentlemen, please silence your cell phones as our program will begin shortly.
We can rebuild America and make it fairer and better. We will help black families triple their wealth over the next 10 years to an all-time high, double the number of black-owned businesses, and help 1 million more black families buy a home.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the launch of Mike for Black America. Please give a big Houston welcome to the founder and senior pastor of the Church Without Walls, Pastor Ralph West.
Would you join me in a word of prayer tonight as our future stares us in the face in a crucial moment like this? With heads bowed and eyes closed, shall we pray? Oh God, our Father, we know that by ourselves we can do nothing. If we try to face our work by ourselves, we collapse beneath our burdens and our responsibilities. Our bodies become exhausted, our minds grow weary, our nerves are tense beneath the strain. If we try to face our temptations by ourselves, the fascination of the wrong things is too strong. Our resistance is defeated as we do the things we know that we should never do because we cannot help it. If we try to face our sorrows by ourselves, there is nothing to heal the wound upon our hearts, nothing to dry the fountain of our tears, nothing to comfort the loneliness which is more than we can bear. If we face our problems by ourselves, we cannot see the right way. And even when we see it, we cannot take it, and even when we take it, we cannot follow it to the end. If we try to rid ourselves of faults by ourselves, we are forever defeated. The same sins conquer us, and we are never any further on. We know our need. Life has taught us that we cannot walk alone. So be with us to guide us, to comfort, to sustain us in all the changes and the chances of life. Whatever light may shine or shadow fall, may we meet life with steady eyes and walk in wisdom and in strength, in purity and in joy, in the way everlasting, until we reach our journey's end. Through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
Please welcome to the stage, Niobli Arma.
Good evening, Houston. I said, good evening, Houston. I want to welcome you all to the Mike for Black America launch. It feels good to be home. I'm a Houstonian, and I want to welcome you to this evening of celebration. So give yourselves a round of applause and make some noise if Houston is the greatest city in this nation. So my name is Neoblioma IV, and I'm the National Policy Advisor for Equity Issues on the Mike 2020 campaign. I first met the Bloomberg team and Mike in 2014 after leading the Health Disparities Department at the National Association of the Advancement of Colored People. Bloomberg Associates was in the middle of helping President Obama launch his My Brother's Keeper initiative, which was modeled after Mike's Young Men's Initiative program. Who would have thought that I would have spent the next 6 years working in cities across the country, helping them build municipal muscle to address racial disparities among young men and boys of color. I played an instrumental role with the team in the headquarters in New York, developing our Greenwood Initiative. Now I'm gonna slow down for a second. The Greenwood Initiative is not just about policies about upward mobility for the Black community. It's actually much more. The Greenwood Initiative is a story. It's a Houston story, and it's my story. My mother was born in public housing and grew up not too far from here in the CUNY homes. My father immigrated from Accra, Ghana in the late 70s. What's up, Dad? My parents raised me in A-Leaf. Shout out to the squad. And I went on and graduated from an HBCU in Baton Rouge, Louisiana called Southern University. So my parents raised me with the intent that I would do better than they did in life. And it turned out as best as they could have imagined, and I have fared well. Unfortunately, children born in this country today are not predicted to do better than their parents did. So this is exactly why Mike developed a comprehensive agenda laser-focused on Black America, and he called it the Greenwood Initiative. And so Greenwood, in short, is gonna triple median household wealth for the Black family in the next decade and usher in a new era of operationalizing equity. No more talk. And so I want you to take a minute and listen tonight and absorb what you're gonna hear, because you won't hear it anywhere else. Because I'm proud to stand here and tell you that Mike has, Mike is, and Mike will get it done. Welcome.
Hello, everyone. Oh, y'all can do better than that, I know. It is a privilege and honor to stand before you tonight. I'm just kind of soaking it in a little bit because it's so surreal. I didn't know that I would be able to stand before this many people after plowing myself out of the cemetery from my son. I look at all of you and I wonder, who's next? You look like everyday people minding your business, trying to support your families. But you never know when gun violence is gonna touch your home, when it's gonna come knocking at your door. I am Calandria Kemp, and I'm the mother of George Kemp Jr. I'm a wife. There's my husband, George Kemp Sr. Without him, there would not have been a George Kemp Jr. I'm a mother, grandmother. When I lost my 20-year-old child and the earth opened up and I had to deposit my son, I had to walk away. But I didn't walk away so easily. I laid there where the grass became my blanket. Could you imagine that? And the sun became my shade. until the sun was burning me so much I had to get up. The elements were saying, get up. And I can feel my son say, Mama, there's nothing you can do for me here. You get out there and you go help those that cannot help themselves. So I don't stand here before you. I don't want you to feel sorry for me. I want you to join me. I want you to join me in this fight to end gun violence that is plaguing our communities. 36,000 Americans are killed and shot every year. African American children and teens are 10 times more likely to be shot than whites. Raise your hand if you have been affected by gun violence or you know someone that has been murdered by gun violence. That's one too many, don't you think? One too many. When I lost my son, George, I got out in this Houston community, and along with some pastors and friends, we started the No More Bloodshed Peace Walks, where we start going to the hard-hitting areas in the community. Because I was like, ooh, I know it's mothers that look just like me. Somebody not saying something. I'm not taking this one laying down. So I would galvanize those mothers and say, come on out of them houses, bring the biggest pictures you can of your children, and you come out and show the community what's going on. Because we should not be burying our children, and we should not have to grieve in silence. We should be very transparent to say that our family members are missing. Holidays are the worst because you're looking. Birthdays are the worst because that's the day that God gave you that life, and it's all gone. We not only stop with the peace walks in the streets, we start going to the schools, talking to the children. We want to know, what is going on? What can we do as adults to help? We got to stop telling children what to do. We need to start listening. But we need to find out what's happening so that we as adults can take our efforts and clean the pathway for our children. I never forget going to a peace walk. My 4-year-old, my grandson at the time, he was a little boy. And he said, Nana, when I get older, are they going to put me in a box like Uncle George? That's real. That's coming from a baby. And all I can do was stare straight ahead out the window on the way to a peace walk, and I said, hell no. Because your Nana, I'm going to pave the way. I'm going to step myself in that pathway to ensure that your life, that you be an old man and you have a wonderful life with children. Because we cannot think that this is normal. It's not normal. You cannot no longer listen to the media and say, oh, it's just another black child. He was a thug. He was this. He was gang related. They tell you those things to desensitize you. And I'm here to say that that is not the truth. Our children deserve to life. Who speaks for the person under the sheet? Think about it. Just because you want credits and whatever, you want ratings, at what cost? It's all of our responsibilities. But let me tell you a little bit about this young man named George Kemp Jr. I wear him right here. I wear this rose all the time because there's other mothers that look just like me. I stand here representing the women of color as well. Because I've heard before they say the tears of a black mother does not matter. It does not matter until the white women cry. But I'm here to tell you that ain't so because George Kemp's mom, I'm standing here strong. It tell you your tears matter and my tears matters too. And having a president, I'm calling him President Mike Bloomberg, will get it done to ensure that we have a place at the table for our children. But let me tell you about this little boy, George Kemp Jr. He was my baby boy. He was spoiled. He was mine. He played football ever since he was 4 years old. And I have every video that this child played since he stepped on that football field. This child went off and went to high school and had over 100 tackles a season as a free safety. He loved helping his fellow men on his football team work out and make them be the best. He loved to do that. George went on to Navarro Junior College and got a championship ring his freshman year. Give it up for George Kemp. But I also want to show you what this tragedy looks like. These are George Kemp's shoes. This is real. My child will no longer be able to put his feet in these shoes. There's somebody out here as well, there's parents out here as well. They have empty bedrooms. They have shoes that are just sitting idle in the closet. Who speaks for George? He had a right to be here. Something else you don't know about this young man. He loved his horses. He was a country boy. He drove a pickup truck, loved country music. And I was told by some of his friends that when George was off at college, they thought he was weird because he would get in his car and then he would play country music. But lo and behold, they say, Miss Kemp, don't you know George started transforming people to country music? They would be in his car and they'd be singing right along with George, going to practice. So I said that to say that George never changed who he was. He was always looking out for his fellow man and introducing them to new things. But I tell you what, September 26, 2013, my 20-year-old child, his life was taken by a gun. The accessibility to guns to young adults that should not have them. And you ask yourself, where did they come from? Think about your communities. Where are they coming from? Are they licensed? Are they just popping up out of the back of a trunk? Are they just laying away at the school somewhere? I don't know. But I'm standing here because I want to know, because I want to be able to use my voice to be able to save the lives of so many others, because we don't have to live like this. We do not have to live like this. But I tell you what, I met a man. I met a man named Mike Bloomberg last year. And I sat down with Mike Bloomberg at a breakfast. And I brought the picture of my son, George. I wanted to show him. This is my son, George. And this child still should be here. But I know that I'm not the only one that's grieving the loss of a child. Mike told me that he heard mothers crying. He's seen it so much, but he had a plan. And I trusted that. But I tell you what, I've been to all kind of debates, listening to the candidates that are out there. For me, I'm like, is this all we got? That's just honest. I'm just transparent. For me, that was the truth, because it wasn't speaking to my heart. It wasn't speaking to my cause as a mom. It wasn't speaking to the women that are in my Village of Mothers support group. It wasn't speaking to us. But then I looked on Facebook. Whoa, what is this I see? Mike Bloomberg running for president. I said, oh, God dang. That's when I said we got a dog in the fight. I say, as my grandmother would say, that dog will hunt. So then I got so excited. And then I don't know if you saw the Super Bowl ad that Mike put out. He told the story of George Kemp Jr. And I was so proud. Let's give a hand for that. Because I felt like my child made it to the Super Bowl. But not only that, I thought about all the brown children, the black and brown children that use football as an economic way to get out of their situations, that their lives have taken too fast and too quick. What about them? It is not somebody that you have to go look over in another state. It's somebody right down your street. You can no longer turn a blind eye to this, because I know Mike will get it done. So can you say, Mike will get it done? Mike, I know, is the candidate that we need for mothers like me, for mothers like you and families like you to save your children. Do you believe that that is true? Yes. No one has a stronger record on this issue. Mike has taken on the NRA, and he's gotten results. Yes. Tonight, you'll meet Mike, and you'll also hear what's in his heart. And I've had the opportunity more than once to sit down to hear what's in his heart, but you will hear what's in his heart for yourself. And I know with the determination that Mike has, that more lives like my son will be saved. Now please join me in giving a warm welcome to another one of Mike's Bloomberg's biggest fans. Let's hear it for former NFL linebacker, now entrepreneur and philanthropist, Dhani Jones.
If we could all just take a minute and reflect upon what Calandria was talking about. If we could all just take a minute to remember those that have been lost from our community. If we could all just take a minute and realize the power in this room. Please give Calandria another round of applause. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Dhani Jones, and I came here to Houston, Texas, because I want to tell you about another powerful message. I want to tell you about another powerful messenger. I'm talking about economic justice. I'm talking about Mike Bloomberg. Now, for many of you who may not know, I did play in the National Football League, but it was a good 11 years. But just like Calandria was talking about, you have to make that transition. You have to be able to move from the field into the business world. And so I took those lessons that were learned and hard fought on the field and I applied them to the world of business. And I will tell you it was hard. And many of you, I'm sure, know any business that you start has its challenges. But if you persevere, you can find your way through. And Mike has done the same thing. But there are too many barriers that continue to make it even harder for the Black community all across America. For centuries, systemic racism has held us back from launching more Black-owned businesses and building more Black wealth. We know it. Mike knows it. And he's going to do something about it. Mike's plan, the Greenwood Initiative, is a powerful plan to pull up Black America, to lift up Black America. Is it not February? Is it not Black History Month? So to quote one of the great Black leaders of our time, in the future and in the past, Booker T. Washington, there are two ways of exerting one's strength. One is pushing down. The other is lifting up. Mike is lifting us up on today. 1 million more Black Americans to own homes through the Greenwood Initiative. Double the number of Black-owned businesses, Greenwood Initiative. Triple Black wealth, Greenwood Initiative. This is legacy, ladies and gentlemen. That's good for Black entrepreneurs. That's good for Black families. That's good for all Americans. That's good for all Americans. Now, I've met a bunch of leaders both on and off the field, but I'll tell you this much. Leaders don't talk or act alone. They need each and every one of you here today. And Mike Bloomberg is a real leader, and he's got the record to prove it. He's tackled economic opportunity and so many other issues. What do you think I call him? America's linebacker. Let me be clear. This initiative and today takes all of us working, learning, and walking in lockstep to make our America better. I'm proud to stand with Mike, to learn from Mike, to believe in Mike. He is our candidate to beat Donald Trump and get it done.
It is the vitality of our neighborhoods that define us. No one understands the needs of their city better than local leaders. It's time to tackle our problems and build on an economy and a society that works for everyone.
Better than that. Good evening, Houston. What a blessing to see so many of my people. You look and are amazing. My name is Garnesha Ezediaro, and I am the National Director for Black Outreach for Mike 2020. Tonight, with each of you and so many others across the country, we launch the Mike for Black America movement. Mike for Black America was chosen by Mike because our candidate is unafraid to declare to everyone that he stands with us. This is not a new commitment. It is a reflection of Mike's history as a leader. This is not about lofty promises and talk. This is about action and results. Mike has years of partnership with our leaders. He has years of investment in our cities and a proven history of building coalitions to take on the toughest challenges in our community. Mike knows what we all know. It is time for the Black community to expect and demand more from our leaders. It is time to take back the White House. It's time for us to elect a leader who believes in the foundational principles of our community, like integrity, like hard work, like excellence, and a hope for a better world. After working alongside Mike for many years, I can tell you with confidence, he is more than ready. Mike will lead our country with sanity, like he has some sense. Here's what I can say to you with confidence. During the time that Mike was mayor, the Black-white student achievement gap shrank to a record low. He created the nation's biggest and most ambitious effort to support young men of color. Nioboli mentioned that to you earlier. This investment was $30 million of his own money into the program. And his Young Men's Initiative inspired President Obama's My Brother's Keeper and initiatives in 250 cities across the country, including Houston. Mike grew contracts to minority and women-owned businesses to $3.5 billion. And the number of certified minority and women-owned businesses increased from 800 to 3,700. Mike is standing on a record of investments in our cities, with our leaders, and for our issues. So here's the good news. Polls show that we are gaining momentum. Mike's record and message is resonating with Black voters. That's the momentum that we're excited about. But we know we can never be too comfortable. There is a critical primary right here in Texas on March 3rd. And to win, we need each and every one of you. We need you to go to the polls. The Mike for Black America movement must keep going. And it also has to grow if we're going to win. We need you to tell your friends why you support Mike and encourage them to go to join our Mike for Black America coalition at MikeBloomberg.com. Because our people want Donald Trump out. And we want a president who will deliver results and will stand for the things that we have been fighting for. And that, my friends, my community, my people, is Mike Bloomberg. Thank you.
Welcome to the stage, world-renowned gospel recording artist, straight from Super Bowl 54 in Miami, Yolanda Adams.
Hello.
Spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesties, above the fruited plain. God shed his grace on thee and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful forever. love to take y'all everywhere with me. That would just be so cool. Oh my gosh. Yes. Visions that can change the world are trapped inside this ordinary girl. She looks just like me, too afraid she'll dream out loud. And though it's simple, your idea, it won't make sense to everybody. No, no, no. You'll need courage now if you're gonna persevere to fulfill divine purpose. You've gotta answer when you're called. So don't be afraid to face the world against all odds. Keep your dreams alive, don't let them die. If something deep inside does inspire you to try, never stop, no, and never give up. Don't ever give up on you. Don't give up, no. Now all your victories, they come in time. You work today to change tomorrow. It does get easier. We already know that we can fly. And every step you take, you get closer to your destination. I know you feel it now, and you know you're almost there. You're almost there. Oh, yeah, yes. Answer when you're called. So don't be afraid to face this world against the odds. Keep your dreams alive, don't let them die. 'Cause something deep inside does inspire you to try. Never stop, no, and never give up. Don't ever give up on you. Know who holds the pieces to the puzzle, the answers that solve your mysteries, the keys that do unlock your understanding. They are all inside of you. God gave you everything you will ever need. So keep your dreams alive and never let them die. 'Cause something way down on the inside has to inspire you to get up in the morning and keep on moving and never give up. Don't ever give up on you. Don't give up. Don't you ever. Don't give up. God bless you all.
He's been a leader
Please
throughout the
welcome to the
country for
stage
the past 12
co-chairs
years.
of Mike
Mr.
Bloomberg,
Michael Bloomberg is
2020.
here.
Leadership in action. Mayor Bloomberg and President Obama worked together in the fight for gun safety laws, to improve education, and to develop innovative ways to help teens gain the skills needed to find good jobs.
At a time when Washington is divided in old ideological battles, he shows us what can be achieved when we bring people together to seek pragmatic solutions.
I'm Mike Bloomberg, and I approve this message.
You'll have the greatest health care ever. Those pre-existing conditions are
You'll be spending a lot less money for much, much better health care.
As mayor, Mike Bloomberg helped expand coverage for 700,000 more New Yorkers. As president, everyone will have access to affordable care. He'll cap health care costs and ban surprise medical bills. Real plans, not empty promises.
I'm Mike Bloomberg, and I approve this message.
Please welcome to the stage co-chairs of Mike Bloomberg 2020, Columbia, South Carolina Mayor Steve Benjamin and Washington, D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser.
Well, hello, Houston! Woo! Let's give another big round of applause for Yolanda. I'm Muriel Bowser. I'm the mayor of Washington, D.C. You know, the home of the Washington Nationals. I had to get that out. Had to get it out.
You gotta know your audience, Muriel.
Had to get it out. And I'm just thrilled to be here today with all of you and your incredible Mayor Sylvester Turner. Houston has certainly been good to me, and Sylvester has been a great friend. And today we are here to do some very important business. You might think that tonight is all about Michael Bloomberg. And what we've heard earlier in this afternoon, we've all gotten behind him because we know he's the candidate who will beat Donald Trump. And I also want to let you know something else. This night is also about America's mayors, current mayors and past mayors, and mayors who are running for president. And some of our current and past mayors are with us tonight, so give them a big round of applause.
I'm not making any World Series jokes, y'all, so it's all good. As Muriel referenced, mayors are a tight bunch. We know the tough jobs that mayors have to do in cities large and small all across this country. Ever since Mike Bloomberg left as mayor of probably the most consequential and complex city on the entire globe, he's been investing in cities, just making sure we can get things done for the men and women who want to participate in this great American experience. I believe the greatest democratic nation in the history of the world. Because of his incredible partnerships, we're all so excited about supporting here and being here in droves. I will tell you, anywhere in the world right now, there are more mayors per capita in this room than anywhere else in the globe because of Mike Bloomberg. With turnout in droves, because you know when Mike's on your side, there's almost anything we cannot accomplish. I will tell you, Muriel and I want to give a shout out again to all the mayors. You guys, the crowd looks it looks good from up here, y'all, I'll tell you that. Looks fantastic. All the mayors and former mayors, just wave your hands so folks know how many of us are in this room. Yeah. And we'll get a good shot later on. So we want to give a round of applause to all the mayors, but I will tell you, we're here tonight because we're so excited about the endorsement of your incredible mayor, He's my brother, he's our friend, and he's the dynamic mayor of Houston, Texas, Sylvester Turner.
Look, let me start off by acknowledging Mayor Benjamin and Mayor Bowser from Columbia and from D.C. Give it up to these two individuals. And look, we have some incredible mayors from all across the country that are here with us. Let me welcome you all to the city of Houston. And I've got city council members, the Vice Mayor Pro Tem, Martha Castek-Tatum is here. Councilmember Letitia Plummer at large is here as well. And so let me thank all of them. Look, this has been an incredible day in the city of Houston. It started off early this morning with an announcement, a press release that I was endorsing Michael Bloomberg to be the next president of the United States. And all today, we have traveled across the city of Houston at different functions this evening. Started off a little bit at the Georgia Brown at the Champions of Diversity, where the focus was on minority and women and small business ownerships, celebrating and giving awards to businesses of color who are providing job opportunities, especially in communities that have been underserved and under-resourced. And then we journeyed over to the Johnson Rayburn Richards Dinner, where I had the privilege of introducing Michael Bloomberg, and at the same time, he gave a very strong presentation. And now we find ourselves right here at the Buffalo Soldier Museum tonight before all of you, members and elected officials and people in this room. Commissioner Adrian Garcia, good to see you, but people in this room who helped to make this the great city that it is. And I know the mayors will understand when I say that I personally believe that I am the mayor of the best city. And not just in the United States, but anywhere on the face of this earth. I truly believe that. And one of the reasons is that this is one of the most, if not the most diverse city in the United States of America. But I will tell you, you cannot lead a city like the city of Houston alone. You need incredible partners. And mayors can tell you, I don't care whether you're the mayor of a small city, medium-sized city, or a large city. We all do many of the same things. It's our job to provide results. And people are concerned about what takes place on their street, in their neighborhoods, in their city. And they want results. They don't want the polarization. They don't want the fragmentation. They don't want you to run against the diversity. But they want us to recognize as leaders that our cities are diverse, but they want us to work every day to be inclusive. Now let me tell you, that doesn't mean every day we get it right. Because sometimes in our desire to get it right, we can get it wrong. And we can make some mistakes along the way. And all today, I've been fielding questions from reporters and media saying, Mayor, what about Mike's policies? Stop and frisk. And what I said to them, I've had several conversations with Michael Bloomberg, face to face, sitting down and talking with him. And what I asked him, if you are going to adhere to that same sort of policy, it's a non-starter for me. It's important for me to hear that a recognition that the policy that was put in place was not the right policy, that it was flawed, that it was insensitive, and a public apology that it was wrong. And in order for me to move forward, those are the sort of things that I needed to hear. And I heard that. And then the question was, where do we go from here? Because I'm someone who believes that you don't judge people by the mistakes they make. You judge people by their ability to fess up and then work collectively to move you forward. And so, when I look at the totality of the record, for an individual to have created in New York City 500,000 jobs, to have added more than 700,000 people who didn't have health care and they got health care, to talk about how they have addressed and worked with those who are homeless on the streets, because you can fill a pothole on the street any day. The question is, are you sensitive to the potholes that are in people's lives every day of the week? I judge someone about recognizing that we need to improve our educational system, about providing economic opportunities, not just for those at the top, but for those who are at the bottom who are trying to move up. And I want somebody to be sensitive to the people in the neighborhood that I come from, where I grew up in, where I still live in. I grew up in the hood. I still live in the hood. And I want to be able to stand with somebody who will be sensitive to their needs and their concerns. And then in this time, when we're in our darkest moment, I want somebody who will be committed to bringing in some sunshine and giving some hope and letting our young men and women of color, giving them the opportunity to be all that God would have them to be. Now, I didn't find a perfect person, but I found someone who I believe, if we stand together, can unite a divided country and take us where we need to be. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my distinct privilege, it's my distinct honor to bring to you tonight the person who I believe will be the next president of the United States, Michael Bloomberg.
Well, thank you and good evening. How is everybody? What an amazing night and an amazing crowd, and thank you all for coming out. Now let's hear it for all of tonight's speakers and the entire production team, including everyone involved in making those incredible videos. Weren't they great? And let's hear it for Houston's own, the legendary Yolanda Adams. Did you know that she has performed for 5 American presidents? What do you think? Can we make it 6? And let me especially thank Garnesha and Neoble for all of their work to put together this event tonight. And Mayor Turner, thank you for your kind words tonight and your wise counsel. Whenever I've needed, I'm glad to call you a friend and a partner. I think Houston really made the right choice when they re-elected the mayor. And it's an honor to have his endorsement in this campaign. And I just want to thank him for reading the introduction exactly the way I wrote it. Seriously, we've spent a lot of time in Houston over the past couple of months, and tonight I've come to here to the historic 3rd Ward. Not the Museum District in Midtown, as some people might say. Get it right. As we all know, this is Black History Month, and Houston really is a wonderful place to celebrate the greatness of Black America. This city is home to Barbara Jordan and Mickey Leland and Yolanda Adams, and of course, Beyonce. Houston is home to Emancipation Park, Freedman's Town, and El Dorado Ballroom. And just look around this amazing museum. It really is spectacular. This month, we look back and celebrate Black history together because Black history is American history. And tonight, we look forward to. I'm here to tell you how deeply committed I am serving as your partner in the White House. But first, I need your help to get to the White House. And I think that's one of the important things we can do. The most important job I'm going to have is to defeat Donald Trump this November. And start getting big things done and start putting the United back in the United States of America. Now, the president attacked me this morning on Twitter, and he attacked me again this afternoon in an interview. So let me say this, Mr. President, you can't bully me, and I won't let you bully the American people. I am going to take the fight to Donald Trump all over America, including right here in Texas. because I believe this year we can turn Texas blue. And turning Texas blue starts with uniting black, brown, and white voters across this state. So tonight, we're launching what we call Mike for Black America. But first, before I ask you to join me in this coalition to strengthen Black America and build a stronger country, I want to give you a better sense of who I am, what I believe, what I feel in my heart, and why this effort is so important to me. Throughout my career in business and in government and in giving away all my money, I've tried to do the right thing. That's what I do, folks. I made it. I was very lucky, and now I'm going to try to do something good with it. Not the popular thing or the politically correct thing, thank you, but the right thing. Now, I didn't get everything right in my life, not by a long shot, and tonight I do want to address something that I did get very wrong so you understand where I stand and what I believe and what I will do as president. I'm a leader who can be honest about my mistakes, and I believe that when you make a mistake, you must learn from it, and next time, do the right thing. And when I first took office, families in New York City were losing their children to gun violence at an alarming rate. And my focus was clear. I wanted to save lives and respond with urgency to the crisis that was plaguing our communities. And while many of the ways we tried to reduce gun violence and invest in communities were right, and we reduced murder by 50%, there is one aspect, an approach that I deeply regret, the abuse of a police practice called stop and frisk. I defended it, looking back, for too long, because I didn't understand then the unintended pain it was causing to young Black and brown families and their kids. I should have acted sooner and faster to stop it. I didn't, and for that I apologized. I spent a lot of time speaking with Black leaders, thank you. I spent a lot of time speaking with Black leaders and community members and listening to their stories. I heard their pain, their confusion, and their anger, and I've learned from them, and I've grown from them. Now, I know I can't change history, but what I can do is learn from my mistakes and use those lessons to do right by Black and brown communities who have suffered. So tonight, let me make it clear. As President of the United States, I will work to dismantle systems that are plagued by bias and discrimination. I will invest in the communities that have borne the brunt of those systems for generations, and I will put this work at the very top of our agenda. Tonight, we are creating Mike for Black America because I am committed to using the power of the presidency to right the wrongs of institutional racism wherever they exist, in our schools, workplaces, prisons, courtrooms, and our healthcare system and housing markets. As president, I will appoint a cabinet that shares my commitment to confronting these issues head on, and who have experienced and lived these issues in their own lives and will have the perspective of the policies we develop to shape those policies. I've been working on these issues of racial equality for years, and in the White House, I will bring together a diverse team to double down on that work. Everything we've ever tried to do in public life comes from one motivation. I've always worked to help people live the longest, healthiest, most fulfilling lives they possibly can, to make the real promise of freedom and equality for everyone in our country, and to help make the world a better place for our kids, our grandkids, our neighbors, and our communities. Those are the values I learned from my parents and I've always carried with me. When I was a kid, we didn't have a lot of money, and growing up, my father never made more than $6 grand the best year of his life. And when my parents tried to buy the house that I grew up in, the owners wouldn't sell it to them. They didn't want a Jewish family in the neighborhood. Fortunately for us, our Irish lawyer was willing to buy it and transfer it to our parents. True story. I was only 4 years old at the time, so my father told me this. But if our family had been Black, I doubt that we wouldn't have been so lucky. And I would have not gotten the same opportunities that I had. Let's face facts. Life is not fair. One of my earliest memories from that house was sitting at the kitchen table watching my father write a check to the NAACP. And I remember asking him, "Daddy, why are you giving money to the NAACP?" And what he told me, I will never forget. He said, because discrimination against anyone threatens us all. So I was taught about the importance of treating people equally at a young age. And I can promise you, as president, I will leave a full frontal assault on racial injustice and on those who try to spread intolerance and hatred. This is work that I've done for years, before I was mayor, 12 years as mayor, and ever since. Close partnerships with black leaders from around the country. And at my foundation, Bloomberg Philanthropies, we've worked very closely with mayors in particular, drawing from their experience in New York, and we've made helping mayors a big focus of our efforts to spread effective policies and programs. We've teamed up with Houston, Atlanta, Memphis, Oakland, Gary, Indiana, the list goes on. And the policies that I will pursue as president owe much to the work that we've done with mayors in these cities. Tonight, I am honored to be joined by a number of mayors whose friendship and partnership mean a great deal to me. Mayor Muriel Bowser of Washington, D.C., who I hope to call Governor Bowser when we deliver statehood and full voting rights to the people of Washington. And another one of our campaign's national co-chairs, Mayor Steve Benjamin of Columbia, South Carolina, who has a future ahead of him. They are among the 12 mayors who made the trip to Houston tonight, and I hope you'll join me in giving them a round of applause, the one they deserve. Now, for 15 years, I've been working to build coalitions of mayors to take on national issues where Washington is failing. And I just wanted to share with you two examples. Back in 2006, I started the Mayors Against Illegal Gun Coalition. We brought over 1,000 mayors to take on the NRA and fight the scourge of gun violence. And with Moms Demand Action, we launched Every Town for Gun Safety, which is now the biggest gun violence prevention group in the country with 6 million supporters, including many here in Houston. And together, we are making progress in states around the country, not just in Congress. Next year, we're going to change that. In New York, I also started a program called the Young Men's Initiative, which was the first city-led effort to tackle the disparities that young men of color face in education, employment, health, and more. And I'm proud to say our work helped inspire President Obama to create the My Brother's Keeper organization, which has helped young men across the country, including right here in Phoenix, in Houston. President Obama did a lot of good work on these issues, but President Trump slammed on the brakes. So we have to get the engine going again and start putting the pedal to the metal. And that's where our Greenwood initiative comes in. Our mission is to right historic wrongs, build black wealth, and spread opportunity to more black communities. Here's the future that the Greenwood Initiative envisions for Black America. Over the next decade, we are going to help 1 million more black families own a home. We are going to double the number of black-owned businesses, and we're going to triple the wealth of black families to substantially close the racial wealth gap. Together, let me tell you, we will get it done. I know how to do it. We did it in New York City. We can do it here. Part of our work will involve helping more black Americans get on track to a successful career. And that means we will triple funding for historically black colleges and universities like Alabama State, which I visited last weekend, and Texas Southern just down the road here in Houston. Go Tigers! What do you mean, boo? Go Tigers! I've been helping students afford good colleges for years, and as president, I will make sure that HBCUs have the resources not just to survive, but to grow. When I am president, we will build a future in which black communities live free from the horrors of gun violence. We will build a future in which we better protect the health of black mothers and their babies. You should know that black babies die at rates twice as high as white babies because of a lack of access to affordable health care. And here in the wealthiest country in the world, we cannot accept that, and together we will change it. When I am president, we will build a future in which all of us share in our country's progress and the rewards. Just think about this. If we could eliminate the racial wealth gap in this generation, we could add $1.5 trillion to the U.S. economy. Everyone would benefit. What's not to love? And so what are we waiting for? Ending economic inequality across all communities won't be easy, but I'm not running to do small things. I'm running to do the big things that make a big difference. That is the kind of president I will be. But first things first, we have to win this election. So my message I'm taking to everybody, partnership, inclusion, and honesty all over America. And everywhere I go, I'm making the case against Donald Trump because we've just got to beat him. I believe I'm the strongest candidate to do that. I believe that we can build the most effective, most diverse campaign team, just like we built here in Texas. And speaking of, let's hear it for Houston's Ashley Turner and our Texas team. So tonight, I'm asking for your help and for your vote. I hope you'll talk to your friends, talk to your families, and tell them what this campaign is all about. And make sure they vote, because together we can get it done. So let me leave you with one thought. If you want a president who is committed to listening to your stories and struggles, your ideas and your dreams, if you want quality health insurance for everyone, if you want to combat inequality with fairer taxes and better jobs, if you support my commitment to quality education no matter what zip code you live in, if you share my belief in opportunity for all, if you are ready to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States of America, and if you are ready to clean out the Oval Office and get things done, then please join our campaign and let's go and win this. Thank you and have a great night.